All right, morning everyone. Welcome to Addressing Your Insecurities. Cybersecurity starts with you, presented by Mertech and Surfacecaler. So today we're going to be talking about a few different things in our agenda, starting off with how cyber attacks happen, sort of identifying the key and the main ways that they occur. Then we're going to have a look at how to identify a spam email. They've got a few examples of that. Just giving demonstrations or examples that we got this week. Like I pulled these emails yesterday and put into here of actual real life examples that people send out to anybody just trying to access anything. Some of these things are wild. I'm going to show you how to check a link that's in an email. So if you get an email from someone saying, hey, click this link and go sign in, if you don't recognize that, like the sender, hover over the hyperlink as well just to make sure it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't click it, delete it. We'll run through that process as well inside an email about how to do that. Most of you have probably already done it by accident, but there's just hover over it. I'm going to briefly explain why the name of the sender in the email doesn't matter. That's not the important thing when someone sends you an email. It's not the name. And I'll run through that just when we get there. What we can do about it, and then we'll do a quick summary at the end about how we've gone and what we've learned. Good day. So you've got malware attacks, phishing attacks, man-in-the-middle attacks. So this one is when someone tries to gain access between, you and your information about you to get into your computer. So again, this happens over email. All of these are going to sort of happen over email. Password attacks. If you've ever seen one of those BuzzFeed articles, it's like, do this quiz, or what was the name of your first dog and all that fun stuff. Like that is all stuff that's trying to get your details so that they can try and guess your password or try and brute force their way into your password. So never do those because they're bad. Yeah. So a little bit about the types of phishing that you have. So phishing is literally any attempt to trick you into doing something to benefit someone else or the criminals. So opening an attachment in an email, clicking on a link, sharing confidential information like your username and password, or transferring money. So there's two different types. So mass phishing, you will see, which is just like the generic ones that are just like, hey, hi, account holder, things like that. They're very, very common. They like, again, I went through our inbox yesterday. We had several hundred of them. And then there's spear phishing ones that are more direct, that are made to sort of look like they come from inside your organization. They're made to look like they come from, the director of the company or something like that. Look like they'll have some pretty common tells about, hey, this person has never used this word before in their life. Why would they send that to me in an email that looks like they formatted it on a potato? We'll run through some of these examples in a second. So next up, we're going to have a look at how to identify spam emails. So this is sort of like the core of this webinar. So this is a standard example. This would say, hey, your account's been suspended by Netflix. Click this link over here to update your account. Now, if you get this email in today's era, Netflix hasn't looked like this in about 10 years. So it's a scam. So a few key points here. One, they're going to address you by name. They're not going to call you the name of the company that they are sending an email from. So if your account has been suspended by Netflix, you'll get a personalized email from them saying, hey, dear, like if it was to me, dear Stephen, your account has been suspended. Please go to our website and not link it because they know that that's bad form, please go to our website to fix it, right? It's fine. They're not going to say, hey Netflix, what's going on? Your account's been suspended, company. So that's sort of the example that I like to pull out most of the time. And then we've got a few that are from yesterday. So this one is from yesterday that we pulled out. This was, as you can see, sent to our director. And it just says, hey, you've got this voicemail. And it's a good voicemail because the duration is 0.62. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at some tells with you guys now. There's 5 of these examples, so we'll run through each of them. So first up is acme.mertech.com.au is not an email address or not an account or a person that lives in this company. Also, I don't know who Raquel at techno whatever.com is. I've never seen this person, but you can see what they've done is they've updated their username to look like it's coming from inside of Mertech. So if you just get it on your phone and don't expand this bit out, it looks like you have an unread voicemail. Oh, I've zoomed a bit far. And then it's like, hey, follow this link to listen to the voicemail. So if you do follow that link, what it takes you to is a casino website that then asks you to play now and sign up and all of that fun stuff, which you don't need, and I don't think anyone's ever really needed, because real casinos exist. So this is the first one that we looked at yesterday. So again, those key tells are the name over here. If you don't know the name of the sender or don't recognize the email address, probably don't click the link. Again, the duration of this 0.62. I don't know what 0.62, like 62 seconds, like that's a minute and 2 seconds. Like there's nothing's ever going to be formatted like that. That's a bit of a weird way to try to convey that information. Then okay, I don't know, and Alice Quitson, I don't know, that person, so that person's not familiar to me, so I'm probably not going to care about what's in the voice message anyway. And if it was a real voice message, it would come through my phone. So there's that. So another example, I thought this one was fantastic. So this is an email from it.auto, which is their username that they've updated. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So again, the username doesn't match the email address from the domain that they've sent it from. The formatting's off, like I don't know what of 365 is, but that's like the first big red flag when just looking at the email. If you look at it on your phone, it looks a bit strange. It just says Dear Alerts TPP Wholesale, which would be like the first part of someone's email address. So it doesn't reference me by name, so it's not for me. And it's not a thing that I should be clicking. The weird spacing, the urgency. So a lot of these emails, these spam emails are going to come through and they're going to say, hey, you need to do this thing immediately, otherwise you're going to lose access. It's like, okay, cool. That generally would push most people to go through and do that process, fill out these steps. So if you want to keep same password, notice there's a missing S in there, you click that link, which then takes you to whatever this website is. I don't know if I clicked it to actually follow through, but again, there's like, this is just a close-up of this. Like you've got weird spacing, you've got links that don't make sense, the misspelling. Like don't go to a site that looks like this because I don't know what zionmedicalsolutions.com is or where this bit takes me on their website, but it's probably not great. Because all this stuff at the front doesn't really mean anything for that purpose. Cool. Example 3 of identifying spam emails. So this is another one about Office 365. Hey, keep your current password by clicking the link. So it's a HTML file. This one was actually sent through to our service desk and then immediately marked as spam. When I opened the link, so I open everything in an incognito browser so it doesn't like sign me in automatically, which I don't want. But it takes you through to woodpeckertrainingcenter.com, which again, you can identify, or with links like this, you hover over them and they pop up a little box, right? These ones are a little bit harder, so I had to actually open them. So you open it up and it says, hey, the connection's not private, you sure you want to do this? If you get to one of these pages on an email that you were not expecting, just stop, call the company. If you have dealings with that company, that's fine. But call them and say, hey, I got this email. Did you send it? 9 times out of 10, the answer's going to say no. No, that shouldn't have gone through. We shouldn't have sent, like, no one from here would have sent that. And if that's the answer, just delete the email. So if you are feeling brave and you want to go through and click advanced on here to try and get into the website, that's fine. Just remember that it's not secure and it ends up taking you to a broken page that doesn't exist. I don't know what would have happened if I clicked it within their time window or anything like that, but it was not, like when I went there yesterday, it was dead. So unless they had a temporary download link on there or something like that, but it would have ended, you get to this page, they don't give you this page for no reason, so listen to it. And they even outline exactly what's going on. Hey, someone's going to try and steal your credit card details or passwords. So this one was tricky. Well, this one was well done. So you've got a purchase order from AdCore Group, which we don't have any dealings with, but the name matches, it looks like an official email address, it's got an official domain, all that stuff. There's a little link here to view your purchase order, which takes you to this website. I didn't grab the zooming, like the URL information, because it was exactly the same. It took GigaCloud.3 Zools, and then it asked you to sign in for an account. Now I didn't click that because that would have asked me to provide login information, things like that they can then use to get into other accounts, which is 9 times out of 10 what they're trying to do. I'm assuming even if you clicked it as soon as you got it, the link would have expired pretty much straight away, so that they can get you to sign in and put in your first name, your last name, your email address, your phone number, all of that stuff to sign in for an account, which they can then use to get into other accounts. Now, the final example that we've got for identifying spam emails is another one of those voicemail messages sent to our inquiries inbox over at ServerScaler. Details below. At least this time they bothered to put in, a proper phone number, some details, a duration in actual seconds and minutes instead of decimal point. So you've got Peter Lane, which is the name that does not match the email address of John B at dustpipe.com, whatever that is. I don't know. And the details, the way that they want you to do it is open the attachment or download the attachment, which then takes you to a Microsoft 365 sign-in page, or what looks like one. This is a pretty decent mock-up. It doesn't look exactly the same, but it looks close enough that someone could be like, yeah, that's Microsoft. And then, you go through that, you hit next, and then it just says, cool, what's your password for this email address? That was the next step in that process, was put in your password. And this was locally stored on my computer because I didn't get the email directly. So it wouldn't have done anything, but that's like they've got the gradient. I'm assuming they just ripped it straight off Microsoft's website and just put it on theirs. But like this entire background is all what you see when you log into Microsoft. So that's pretty clever. Now, another one. This is a different sort of thing. This should still be example one. Anyway, so this one I had a look at yesterday, and I had to deep dive into it because there's just so many levels that you can see. This was sent to one of our customers. As you can see, their email address is all grayed out and things like that. But it went directly to our junk email. But as soon as I restored it, it showed me a picture. So it says hello, and then it has a variable here. So if you see that, like that's someone trying to just like, yeah, it's going to pull the first name details and then say hello, John, or whoever it was sent to. Grab your reward. Now, I don't know who's familiar with the JB Hi-Fi brand, but JB Hi-Fi's logo does not look like that. I don't know if it ever looked like that, because that's a weird font for that to be. It might have been like, I don't know, early 2000s, maybe. It sounds like a JB Hi-Fi thing to do. But that's not what it looks like at the moment, so they're not going to be sending out a reward or anything like that. Congratulations, dear JB Hi-Fi customers. So again, it's not very personalized. And you know, just the way that it sounds when you say it doesn't make a lot of sense. Congratulations, dear customer. Like, just put a name in there. It doesn't matter if it's the wrong name, just put a name in there. Someone can at least think that it's meant for someone else. So very good news for you is not a sentence someone would really say in the English language often. Your address is please selected to receive a free reward. That all of this, they've got a different font here for JB Hi-Fi than they have for the word dear and congratulations. Like that's different. That's a different typeface right there. To benefit from this special offer, simply complete our 30-second prospective study in your experience with JB Hi-Fi. Now, I haven't shopped with JB Hi-Fi for about 2 years. I walked in there once, like when they opened up a new one near me 6 months ago. Have not bought anything from JB Hi-Fi in years, so why would I be getting this? All you have to do is answer a questionnaire, which is good because it asks you details about yourself at the start of it. So I'm going to hover over these links at the moment. Well, there's 2 links in here that I'm going to sort of go through. So the start link and the unsubscribe link, these are the same. So these unsubscribe and the start, they take you to the exact same place, which is you unsubscribe from the mailing list. That's great. Fill out this survey. Now, once you actually go to that site, it takes you to here. And that is not the site that I clicked. But like, you know, okay, redirects exist, that's fine. But it was also not jbhifi.com.au. Like, that's not that address. And it had the email address of the recipient up here as well. Saying, hey, yeah, fill it out. That's fine, go for it. And I didn't get any further because I know if I click start, something bad may happen, so I just sort of stopped there. If it was a legit survey, it would take you to jbhifi.com or like a Survey Monkey or something like that, like one of the legitimate survey sites. So again, the wording was kind of weird. This time they actually bothered to use the correct font, like logo for JB Hi-Fi, so that was weird. And again, they're trying to push that sense of urgency on me for, hey, you've got to get this done in the next 5 minutes or it goes away. Which it doesn't. If you click the link, it just keeps going and going and going. And that's it. So the final topic for this point is why the name of the sender does not matter. So this bit here that everyone sort of seems to get stuck up on is that, you know, it says that it's from someone important, or it says that it's from the director. So I've clearly got to do what they say. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this that bit can be changed at the drop of a hat. You literally just update your profile information to say, hey, I'm going to be Greg now, and then I can be Greg. If you have an enterprise, like if you're using like Microsoft 365 or something like that, the process is really quick. If you have access to the admin panel, you can do it in your Gmail, you can do it in Hotmail, like you can just change your name on any service, because all it does is literally change this. Your email address is still this weird jumble of words. So this bit here, like that's the sort of the key. Like you need to, if you get an email from someone saying like, yeah, it's from the director of the company, right click it, try and reply to that email and see who it sends to. Most of the time it's not going to, well, most of the time if it's a legit email, it'll go to that director and you'll be able to see their actual email address. But sometimes it'll end up in this weird email address you've never seen before. And you're like, okay, great, good times. So don't worry about too much what it says here. Focus on the email address. Do you recognize it? If you don't, just don't worry about it. Just delete the email. Now, what can we do about spam? So the first, I think most important point of this, set up MFA on any account that you have. If it offers MFA, set it up. So multi-factor authentication is if you log in and you get a text to your phone, or you go through an authenticator app or something like that. It's just another point of authentication during the login process. Which means if someone gets your email address and your password, big deal. They still have to have your phone as well to get into the account. It's still annoying if they have your email address and password, because you can get text messages every 5 minutes, but you've at least got that extra level of protection, meaning that if someone does come in and somehow manage to get all of that information, it's still protected because they need a physical device to get in, which is generally on your person at all times. Unless you sort of like leave it somewhere, but that's another issue entirely. Hover over the links in emails just to see where they go. If you don't recognize the address, don't go there. Check the sending address. That's sort of what we went over on this one. If the sending address doesn't match the person that it's coming from, don't do anything they're asking you, because it's wrong. If you weren't expecting the email, call someone, pick up the phone, call the company and say, hey, did you send this? Was this supposed to come to me? Because it's really hard to do a spam email when you're talking to a person, because it's a phone call. So look for generic greetings as well. So dear sir, dear ma'am, like all of that, like very, very generic stuff that you've seen 1,000 times. Look out for those generic greetings. They're sort of the first red flag, apart from the email address being funky. And if you aren't sure, just delete it. At the end of the day, if it was important, if it was legitimate, then like someone would have, they'll follow up with you either by phone or by another email. Chances are it'd be by phone the second time to say, hey, did you get my email? And then just say, yeah, it looked dodgy, so I deleted it. Cool. So we have a special offer today, which I forgot to mention up top, that all of the live attendees are eligible for a free half-hour consult with our team to ask any questions privately. If you need to get in contact with us, here is our information. So thank you everyone for attending. See you next time.